to Pal Talks. Hope you guys had a great week and welcome back. It's officially Thanksgiving week and I am so grateful to be here. It felt like it was never going to get here, but we're here. Hopefully you guys have some awesome plans for Thanksgiving and you guys have lots of food to eat. This is the week of breaking diets and just enjoying your food, family, friends, and maybe some drinks as well. But yeah, I do want to start off with what I'm thankful for this week. I'm definitely thankful for my kids, them being healthy, my family, my friends. I'm thankful for my job. I'm thankful for just pushing through this year. It's been a hard year, so I'm happy that we're here. And we get to have a little bit of time with our loved ones. And this week, with the kids being out of school, it made me think a lot about what these kids are up to. And I feel with this generation, we are definitely going to run into some issues because, I don't know, I feel like this generation is not really paying attention to what they need to pay attention to. They're too caught up into technology. It's like they're street smart to an extent, they're street smart as far as technology, but they're not really street smart to what they really need to know. I feel like schools should really, maybe 8th grade, should start teaching them about what's really out in the real world and what's expected of them. Because man, these kids, they have it easy, and I feel like they have it too good. And the high school students, I don't think they're ready. I feel like, I don't know how we had to adapt. I feel like we were just pushed out there and had to adapt really quickly. But I feel like they don't even know. I feel like they need to learn the basics. They should literally have a class. There's their junior year and senior year of just surviving out in the real world. For example, getting a checking account, understanding credit, how to pay bills, where do most bills get paid, learning how to balance their money, how to apply for a job, how to, just the most basic things, even down to grocery shopping. I feel like they don't even know. And I've run into a lot of teenagers lately, and they're just I don't know, living in their own little fairy tale land. And I'm just whoa, you think you're bad, but the world's gonna kick your butt once you get out there, because you have a lot of stuff to learn. I feel like we had to learn it rather quickly, but this generation, I don't know, they're just expecting it to be given to them or things to be easier. Y'all need to get it together. But I also, I like to go down my little rabbit holes with the news and stuff. And I saw this news thing that in Africa, they had 30 girls kidnapped in the middle of school. These people just walked in to these classes and they took these 30 girls. I think this was in Africa. And that just mind boggles me how all this is happening across the world. And I feel like that should be talked about more. But it almost seems like it's normal over there. It really does. So that threw me off. And I wanted to give y'all an update on my neighbors because they acting up again. They're cutting their grass, each other's grass. But I was gonna tell you guys about my other neighbor. So that the grass one, he's right across from me. But the one on the side of me, I be telling people, I swear to God, he works for the FBI or the CIA, because I never see him out, ever. He doesn't come out during the day. Everything's delivered to his home. He has people to come take care of his landscaping, and his house and my house are really close together. And at night, whatever room is right next to my master bedroom, at night he turns on this red light, and I can hear him working, but he has buffering noise that who knows what he's working on. A little suspicious. a little suspicious. So then I went and asked one of my other neighbors that's been here for a long time in this cul-de-sac, and I asked her, and I was like, hey, have you ever seen this neighbor? Because I never see him. And she's like, girl, I've been living here for 20 plus years, and I've seen that man maybe twice. And I'm like, twice? I don't think he has a wife. And like, you know how you have like, if you live in the subdivision, you have like the HOA and they give you like a directory. So I'm over here, you know, looking up like who lives at that address, the house, when was the house purchased, like, because they give you a lot of information on like your HOA directory. But yeah, I couldn't really find much. So I find it really weird. And then like my kids throw the soccer ball over his side of the fence, and I'm thinking like, oh, he's gonna like go to his backyard and throw it over. No, he'll literally call like landscapers that do his landscapers to just throw the ball over, because we're not allowed to go in his backyard. So yeah, but I really need to see him, because, or maybe I should write him a letter, because we have like a tree that's on our fence line that we share, and I swear this tree is going to end up falling on my house, because where we live, like, we get bad storms, and one day this tree is just going to fall on top of my house. So I'm trying to avoid that situation, and I'm like, I need to speak with him, because we're probably going to have to go 50-50. I'm cutting this tree down, but this man is nowhere to be seen, and I've tried many times to look for him, like purposely look out for him, because sometimes I work from home. No, I never. And when he does go out, it's at night. Like, it's literally at night. I don't know if that's normal, but I don't know. I think he's one of those people that either he hates people and he doesn't want to deal with us, or like maybe he was, I don't know, he's like very antisocial, or he got some other stuff going on. What do y'all think? What should I do to find out? You know, because I'm always trying to be, I'm not nosy, I'm just trying to see who my neighbors are, you know. We're gonna be here for a hot minute, but I don't know, he's suspicious. That one's really suspicious. And like the one that's across the street that's been here a minute too, I've asked him about the neighbor, and he's just kind of like, no, I don't know nothing. No, I don't know nothing about him. I don't really speak to him. I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, that's my neighbor update. Anyhow, so this week I am going to talk about the Netflix documentary that just came out, Selena y los Dinos. As you know, your girl's Mexican American. So I was so excited to see a new documentary. This documentary was different because it was done by her family. And supposedly we were going to be seeing, you know, footage and pictures, and just hear a whole different perspective, new, that we hadn't seen before. And I always think that's always nice, you know. Unfortunately, we know the outcome of Selena. You know, she was murdered, but it still got to me. So let's just get into it. I'll let you know what I thought about it. You know, Selena Quintanilla Perez, she's a very famous singer, in case you don't know her. She was the Queen of Tejano. She was born on April 16, 1971. Unfortunately, she was murdered at a young age of 23 by her fan club manager. She was embezzling money, and Selena caught on to it, and she confronted her, and unfortunately, this evil woman took her life. It was very, very sad. She was loved. I think I was like 8 years old when it happened, around that. And I loved her music then. And I think like as the years and decades have passed, we've loved her even more. I mean, she's like, to me, she's like Michael Jackson to Latinos, you know, because she was so loved. And it's crazy how much her music has stayed alive even after her death. And I mean, she was just so beautiful. Unfortunately, she was like a rising star that just was put out way too soon. I mean, she's one of those people that if you can bring anybody back, I feel like a lot of people would bring her back, because she definitely could have done amazing things. So it was very, very sad. She was in a band, Los Dinos, you know, she was the main singer, and her brother and her sister were in the band with her. I believe her brother played the guitar. Her sister played the drums, but she grew up in it since she was 6 years old. Her father put this band together, and she was the lead singer in it. And one thing I didn't realize is, they worked really hard. They worked really, really hard. So I think by the time she did make it, and she had won her Grammy, we can see how the hard work paid off. And I was very impressed how she was very into her costumes. She was not into writing her lyrics. Her brother ended up taking that for the most part. But right when she was starting to write, she was getting more involved with the writing of music, which I thought that was really cool. She was more into, singing the notes and feeling the music, designing clothes, and she had gotten married really young to one of her bandmates, Chris Perez. So I thought it was really cool. And to hear how everything unfolded from her childhood to her rising star, and how her death impacted her family, and how they heard that Selena had been shot. It's different to hear from the family. And I mean, obviously, that's a hard pill to swallow as a parent, and you can definitely see in their faces, in their eyes, how much they love their daughter and they miss her so much. Prior to this documentary, I hadn't really heard much about her family. Her family's pretty private, like her dad, her mom. But I didn't realize her dad was still involved in her museum. And I didn't know that. But at the same time, I thought it was really sad that he's there and he's seen all these people that loved his daughter, and it's almost kind of like he's frozen in time, And I believe the sister took over, and she's like the CEO, and they're doing what they need to do to keep her legacy alive. What I did notice is that her brother was not in the documentary as much as I thought he would be, because he was like next to her whole entire life. So I thought that was kind of odd that he wasn't as vocal. We did get to hear her husband's way of how they fell in love, how she would write him these letters, and you get to see she was definitely a sucker for love. She married really young, but in my mind, I always thought it was beautiful that she got to experience that love, because she was so much in love, and prior to her passing. So I thought that was really cool. And then I didn't realize she had won like a lot of awards prior to her Grammy for Tejano music. And I think we knew that she lacked in her Spanish speaking abilities, but I don't think we realized it as much until this documentary, because she really practiced and tried to learn the language, which was so weird to me because she sang it so well. So that just goes to show you it was a lot by memory. It wasn't really knowing the language, it was all by memory. So I thought that was really cool. And she was Mexican American, so she definitely got to see things from two different point of views. But she was a little firecracker. I like that she had her own beliefs, and like she stood up for what she believed, whether it being music, love, stepping into other things like her designing clothes, her boutique, and stuff like that. I definitely like the fact that she pushed herself. And then I also didn't realize how much they were on the road. They were doing shows 4 to 5 times a week. I was like, man, that's a lot of time on the road. No wonder like she was known to the Latin people, because they were out on the road show after show, getting close to her fans. And that was something really cool. I think one of the touching moments for me in the whole entire documentary is when her husband read a love letter and you get to see her writing. She wrote really pretty. You could see her writing and how she spoke, to him. A very intimate moment that he didn't have to share, and I thought that was really nice of him to have shared that letter with us. And man, I think we all have this picture of Selena with her like voluptuous hair and big smile, red lips. But watching all these videos of her from a young age, I realized that, man, she was just fearless when it comes to her image. She would chop off her hair, curl it, and she did not have an attachment to her look. She was forever evolving. And I don't know if I liked her with short hair. Like, she had the like Halle Berry bob almost look. I don't know if I like her with that. But I will say, from watching her videos from the age of like 16 to when she passed away, that girl was well developed. Like, she had a figure on her, like at a very young age. And you would think like, okay, well, what did she do to keep her body at this figure? But with that many shows during the week alone, and she would dance for an hour nonstop on stage. I thought that was really, really cool to learn. But yeah, she was very developed at such a young age. I could see why her father was so protective of her. She was a really great dancer. She was a really fun, great dancer. She was very passionate about it. She loved it. She had some moves that I hadn't seen in a minute. But I thought that was really fun of her family to show her funny side, her goofy side, and without makeup, like after the show, definitely behind the scenes stuff, which I believe some of those videos that they showed us were some of the videos that was shown to Jennifer Lopez whenever she was trying to prepare for her role in the movie Selena. And I can see where she would get some of her little gestures and laughs. I don't think J-Lo could replicate her dance moves, because even though Jennifer Lopez was a dancer, I definitely feel like Selena would have gave her a run for her money. Like, she definitely had a very particular style, especially they had this one video where she's practicing her spin. Like, she has like a very famous spin that she does on stage, and she practiced it over and over and over, and she had it down to a T, like flawless. Very, very skilled. And then they got to show us like some of the things that she had coming up. I didn't even realize she did a commercial for Coca-Cola. Maybe it's because I was much younger at that time. I didn't realize she had that. So you got to learn some cool new stuff about her that I feel like most people had forgotten. Didn't realize that she had done. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then I don't want to focus on the person that murdered her, that essentially killed her, but it would have been nice to hear their perspective on their thoughts about it. It's kind of like they talked a little bit about it, but they definitely didn't want to put any more light on that situation. So I don't know, it's like they told you how they found out, where they were, how did they rush to the hospital, and what they were able to remember from that day. It's definitely a hard conversation. They don't like to talk about it. You can definitely tell it hits a spot for them for sure till this day. But I just can't imagine. I just can't imagine, like, it would just be nice to hear their perspective on things, because I feel like it's like everyone knows what happens and they say the embezzlement, but when you really read about it, apparently, like, the day before the lady that murdered her, she had called Selena to tell her that she had been raped, and Selena was telling her, like, I'll bring you to a hospital so you can get a rape kit, and then they weren't able to do it, so that she brought her back to the hotel, and obviously that led to that conversation. So there was a lot of them seeing each other the days before that led up to the morning of where she got shot. And her family definitely was a little bit more aware of where she was at. They just didn't think that it would get to that, So I kind of hope that they would talk more about what they knew leading up to those days, but I guess their focus was just focusing on her legacy and them continuing that for their daughter, or their sister. I think through the years there was like a rift between like the family and Chris, because eventually he did have to remake his life, and he remarried and had children. But I definitely find them closer now than before. I don't know if that's something that happened recently, but Suzette, her sister, I feel like she's more united with Chris, and he's more hands-on and more involved with Selena, like anything to do with Selena now, which was, I don't know where's it coming from. I feel it was really nice to hear from her bandmates how they met her at such a young age and how much they loved her, and to hear their experience, with the band and with her, and how it affected them. My heart broke for them, because you could tell it changed their life forever. So I definitely think you should see it. It's different from other documentaries. It's not like the movie. We already seen the movie. Well, if you haven't, you can see it. It's definitely more from the family's perspective, for sure. And it's more personal. It's not as like, as if like like E! News or Behind the Music was doing it. Like, you can definitely tell they're opening up their heart to the public, and they're more open to talk about the loss and her accomplishments. So yeah, I definitely recommend it. And which made me think about, me growing up, and she was just definitely so fearless, and she followed her heart, and she was just kind of like ready to experience things, which kind of led me to think about when I was young. I was I would say I can relate, because I just wanted to experience things for myself, and I did that. At the time, I was much younger, and I had a boyfriend, and he was into cars. It was a time when Fast and the Furious was up and coming, and everybody wanted to have a fast car, all decked out, and I was just young, and I thought it was just cool to be with those crowds. And I remember this particular night, my boyfriend at the time, he would race his car all the time, and he was teaching me how to drive a standard, and it's not easy. But I had been practicing for a while, and I got very confident, and we would go to these races at night, and I was able to do like the where you're like in the between the cars, and you kind of like do the flag, like, okay, you can go, and then they take off. I was able to do that a few times, and then a few times I also was able to race while being in the car. Like, he was driving and I was in the car. But this one night, we went to like an event, and I felt really confident, and I really wanted to just like prove that I learned how to drive, and I wanted to race. So I remember, I don't know what I remember what I was wearing. 'Cause I was wearing like a really short skirt, cute little heels, and my boyfriend at the time, he was like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And I was just like, "Yeah, like I want to show you that I already know how to drive, and I want to win like one race, at least one race." And his car was pretty souped up, so I felt like I didn't have to do much because his car kind of did all the work. I just had to know when to go into the right gear. And so yeah, I just jumped in his car. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he drove a Honda Prelude at the time. And I remember he had like a twin turbo in it and everything. Like, it was nice and suited up. It was really, really nice. And I was so nervous because, have you ever been to like one of these street races? There is no like red light or green light, or there is no like, okay, we're blocking the roads for you. We pretty much have to like take on the road and hope that nobody is on there while we're racing from point A to point B. So yeah, I remember I took off my heels. I threw them on the seat on the side, and I got in there, and like the guy that I was racing was talking so much crap. I was just like, oh my God. In my mind, I'm thinking like, please, 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 please win. But I definitely took off, and I think I won maybe by, I won, but not by a lot. Like, I think it was all luck, to be honest. It was like one of the only few races that I did, but I definitely did win. We were betting money, and I got some money, and I went shopping with that money. But ever since that day, I definitely feel like I tend to drive a little bit faster than the average. I'm a little aggressive on the road. But I'm also not scared on the road, because I remember not that long after that race, I did like my first road trip. And back then, we didn't have GPS systems the way we have now. But I remember I was able to just take on the road and go out of state. And I was really, really excited about that. So, yeah. So other than that, I want to say that with this week of Thanksgiving, going into Black Friday, going into December, I hope we do some damage this week as far as like hanging out with family and friends and shopping. One of my really good friends had asked me like, what's one of my best Thanksgiving memories? And I would say I don't have like one particular. I just like that we, in our family, we have a tradition. So like every year, like our family gets together at my grandmother's house, and that's just been tradition. And that's what, to me, it reminds me of family. It reminds me of home. And even if we didn't have the food, I would just be okay with us just hanging out together that day, because I really enjoy that tradition. Like, I feel like the year can be crazy, and then you can just show up on Thanksgiving Day, and it's like almost as time did not pass, and everyone's just like happy to see each other. I don't know how other families are. Some other families are a little bit more hectic, but for me, that's something that I always kind of feel like I can count on. And just these past 2-3 years, I've been challenging myself to participate in the cooking or bring a dish. Not the easiest for me, because I would not say I am great in the kitchen. I'm good at eating. I'm just not good at, I don't feel as confident in cooking. I can do it if you give me the recipe, but I don't feel as confident. So that's what I'm working on. I'm working on that. And so, other than that, I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving. And if you guys want to submit some questions, I will be answering them next week. This week, I just figured, we can just catch up on a few little things and see how things are, and then get into our normal segments next week. And other than that, I hope you guys have a good night. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and on Twitter, and like and subscribe and share with all your friends. All the love is appreciated. Y'all have a good night.